14 years. My first actually full-time job was in Crystal City, not far from here, at the Sport Health Club. That's where I started working. I live in Lansdowne though, and Core Motivation Fitness is a company I founded about 10 years ago. We weren't a personal training company. We recently rebranded our company because we found that motivation is one of the biggest things that people need to get consistent with a program and stay on it. There's a program called Active Duty Fitness for Women. Anybody ever heard of that program? Yes? You?
Yeah.
Okay. Member? Were you part of the program? Okay.
6:30 in the morning doesn't work.
6 a.m. That's right. That's right. She's definitely heard of it. Okay. When I was working at the gym in Crystal City, because I'm so close to the Pentagon, there are a lot of people there, women in particular, who needed help maximizing or at least meeting the expectations for the PT test. So I would help them work with them one-on-one to help them max out the test. But the problem I was having is that I can only take so many clients at a time. You know, the most popular time to train is before work, lunch break, and after work. Once my time got booked up, I couldn't help any more people. The other issue for them was they couldn't afford to work with me more than a couple days a week. You know, I give them something to do on their own, do cardio on your own. I talk to them how to go, and they didn't go. They weren't doing it. So I came up with a solution for them and for me to be able to accommodate more people to create a group format. I call it the PT Readiness Program. And I opened it up to everybody, not just to the military, to all women. It was a PT Readiness Program for women. And what ended up happening is there was a company in McLean, One-to-One Fitness. I don't know if anybody ever heard of them. It's a huge personal training company. And they wanted to take the concept that I had actually already started working and franchising. So we created a company called Active Duty Fitness for Women. I helped them develop that company. My personal story about health and fitness, I became passionate about health and fitness when I was in high school. So I watched my parents, my grandmother, my dad in particular, be affected in their lives, their daily lives, and their income because of their health. My grandmother had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. She had diabetes. She was diabetic. She was on dialysis before she died, and she died of congestive heart failure. It was largely because she was inactive and she didn't eat very well. Wonderful woman. She was a great cook. She's an awesome woman. She actually raised us. But I saw how it affected her. She had to leave work because of her health. That affected her finances, and the quality of her life went down real quickly. My dad, too. My dad stopped playing basketball probably in his early 30s. I used to remember him going to play ball on a regular basis. And he got away from that, and he drank and he smoked, and that affected his health as well. He had lower back issues, and a lot of that stuff could have been avoided completely, if they just exercised and ate right. Just those two basic things. I remember one day coming home from school. I was an athlete in school. I played basketball, football, ran track. And I remember coming home one day and telling my grandmother, I'm not eating eggs anymore. She said, why? I said, your teacher says you're high cholesterol. I'm not eating eggs. Now, just so you know, eggs are fine. Most of the cholesterol created by your body is manufactured by the body itself. But back then, that was what they said about eggs. I guess I got to click. Somebody click this for me. So I'd like to click it. You got any clickers, professional clickers?
I've taken several classes.
Or maybe part-time clickers? Clickologists. Okay, I picked the wrong button. So let me do it.
We learned that in the first class.
Yeah, the right button. Okay, so my career started actually before I got here in Crystal City. I played basketball. After high school, I went to play basketball for a school down in downtown LA. And I played there, and I was dropping a friend off at work downtown, and I was asking what he did, just talking. He explained to me basically the role of a personal trainer. And I'm like, they pay you to do that? I'm like, I do that for free all the time. I'm just one of those guys who likes to teach. So long story short, the booster on our basketball team said he paid for half my certification and set me up with a celebrity trainer down in West Hollywood. And I went and trained with that guy for a summer, and then came here and started working full time. So I got to train a lot of people in the industry, in the entertainment industry. So today's mission, my mission is to provide you guys with a quick overview of the benefits of an ASIS fitness team. Here right here at you guys' location. So we're going to cover problems getting fitness results, solutions for fitness success in a busy world, 5 keys to transforming your body in record time, and the problem of getting fitness results today. The number one reason why most folks have trouble staying on track with the fitness program is
Work.
It's work.
I heard it. Time. That's the biggest reason most people don't stay on a fitness program long term and stick with it, or even get started. So what we're going to talk about today is the most efficient way to do your workout program so you get the most benefit out of your exercise rate. at the reality of the matter, I'm as busy as anybody. You know, between running a company, I have 4 small kids who are in school. I work out myself. Everything that I got going, I still make sure I get my workout in. So I think it really comes down to a matter of priority. So we'll talk about the best way to do your exercise program so you get the biggest return on the time that you put in. So everybody has hectic schedules, busy work obligations, kids and family obligations, social time for friends, but you got to rest. I think that's just important to work it out. So where do you find time to fit it all in? You know, and click to the next one. So the old school methods of fitness just aren't practical for most people today. Just click through. The way, probably can go back real quick. He was in the advanced fitness class.
Space at the bottom. I knew there was one more.
So when personal training first started, the way I like to describe it is that probably 95% of the people who were in the gym back then were like bodybuilders. The way it started is a little guy walking to the big guys, they show me what you do. And the whole goal back then was to isolate one muscle group at a time so you can maximize the amount of weight you move so you get the muscle as big as you can get it. Now, today, that's not the population of the gym. The population of the gym today is 95% of people are regular everyday people like me and you guys who want to just stay fit and be healthy. So breaking the body parts down and doing one day at a time is not the most efficient way. It's not going to give you the best return of your time for working out. Having a whole day on chest, a whole day on back, legs, and arms is very inefficient. The cardio workout, same thing. I go into the gym to do my cardio workout, and I see people reading the magazine and watching TV, not breaking the sweat. It's great. They're burning calories, but they're not necessarily conditioning their cardiovascular system to stay strong and to burn a lot of calories. I can get more done in 20 minutes than most people can get done in an hour or an hour and a half doing my cardio. And I'll come in 20 minutes and be gone, and I'll get much more of a benefit than they got being on that treadmill all day long. Even say 3 hours, I'll burn a lot more calories. And we'll talk about that as well. So these protocols just aren't efficient in getting results in a compressed period of time. These are other reasons why people don't start. It's interesting, you know, the reason why people don't start is actually the reason that a lot of them need to start. a lot of times the aches and pains are because the joints are taking too much pressure because the muscles and the ligaments aren't flexible and strong and supporting the joint within itself. The joint is kind of like collapsing and taking too much pressure because a good example is like the knees. You know, if you don't strengthen your quad muscles and your hamstring muscles and make sure your hips are properly aligned, you will end up with knee issues. What does that is regular, proper exercise to make sure you got proper balance on the left and right sides of your body and that those muscles are conditioned properly. That takes the pressure off your knees. Fear of getting hurt, that's a big one. Back, knee, hip, and shoulder issue. 80% of all adults who experience low back pain, and 80% of the people who are experiencing low back pain who are adults have a muscular issue that can typically be resolved through chiropractic care or maybe just simple exercises to realign your hips and realign the strength and flexibility of the lower back muscle. A recent injury, recent surgery, and actually recent injury and recent surgeries are even more reasons to actually start training and working out and making sure your stuff bilaterally that your muscles are operating the same on both sides of the body. Because what do you do when you get hurt? Let's say it's your foot. You compensate the way you walk, right? Well, that's actually throwing off the alignment of your body. What happens if you drive in your car and it's pulling to the right? What's the problem? Does anybody know what that is? It's out of alignment, right? What's going to happen if you don't get the car back in proper alignment? What's going to happen to your tires and suspension? It's going to wear out. It's the same thing's going to happen to your knees, your lower back, your shoulders, ankles, and feet. It's the exact same thing. So coming to the gym to work out without focusing on alignment, you know, sometimes can be just as dangerous. But going back to my announcement about the surgery, you know, after you've healed and now you're walking normal, you've actually conditioned your muscles unevenly on each side of your body, and that can actually cause pain or lead to pain within itself. Does that make sense? You get back in proper alignment. That's even another reason why you should start working out. So today's fitness research has shown us new strategies and techniques for getting results fast. Anybody want to know how to get results fast? Okay, so everybody here just likes working out. It's like the sport. It's what you do part-time and everything you do. Yes, no, maybe sometimes. I like working out. I like playing basketball. That's working out. All right, so ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine. They're kind of like the golden standard for our industry, for fitness They do all the science behind what it is that we do. They do all the studies, the scientific studies. And according to them, more calories are burned in short, high-intensity exercise than in longer, lower-intensity aerobic workouts. Essentially, when you do a high-intensity cardio workout, and I get basically share with you guys how we do it. One of the ways I take my clients to a high-intensity cardio workout, I have them warm up for 3 to 5 minutes. They're well inside of their comfort zone, they can easily breathe. And then I'll have them go actually as hard as they can for anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. That actually strengthens the heart muscle. And when you do that, then I have them also slow down after that for a couple minutes so they can recover. Because you can't maintain a high intensity level like that for longer than 30 seconds to a minute. Your body's going to slow down. So you slow back down for a couple minutes so your body can recover. And you take it back up again for anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. That actually strengthens your heart, opens up your vascular system, makes you burn a ton more calories than if you go at the slower pace. Let's go forward and I'll talk about. I'll get into it. Keep coming, keep coming. Let's go over through this page and just stop. Okay. It's a team thing. You gotta work together, even with the training. So the interval training is what I was explaining. Interval training is high intensity exercise, whether it's cardio or whether it's strength training. When you do high intensity cardio exercise, where I was just explaining, you burn a ton more calories during the workout and even afterwards than you burn if you're doing a low intensity. If you're well inside your, let's say you're well inside your comfort zone, and you do a 30-minute cardio workout. You're barely even sweating, barely even breathing while you're doing it. You'll burn some calories during the workout, say anywhere from 100, maybe 200 calories, I'm not sure, depending on the activity that you're doing. I take the same person, I take them through the interval workout that I just explained to you guys. You'll burn maybe 3 times as many calories during that workout. Not only that, when you leave your workout, you're burning calories at a very high rate for another 3.5 hours after the workout is over. That's for cardio. Now when you do your strength training that way, when you're doing more circuit training, resistance training, you're mixing cardio in with the strength, you're using all your body parts, all your muscle groups. And we're doing what we call functional training, not the bodybuilder type of training. The functional training is where you're doing exercise that help you enhance or maintain regular everyday body movements that you already make. Does anybody ever do this at their desk or just grab something big? No, right? So it's not wrong to do that. But there are other exercises. Maybe you reach over, you grab a dumbbell, pick it up, press it up overhead. Sometimes you put stuff up in the cabinet, right? You need to maintain this shoulder action, this strength up here, this flexibility. To do exercise, this is a full body exercise. The lunge forward, the lunge to press, actually mimics a movement that you would do in regular everyday life. It also uses far more muscle groups. It helps you burn more calories because of that. It's more of a functional type exercise. When you do that type of exercise for your strength training, you're using all your muscle groups and taxing out your whole body system, you're burning calories at a very high rate for another 36.5 hours after the workout. And that's the way that we train. That's the best type of training to do instead of the split routine, bodybuilder type of exercise. Let's go forward because I want to give some examples of the difference between a functional, what I call a functional exercise, and an old school exercise. Now, an old school exercise, let's say, is the machine press. Now, push-up is pretty old school too, but we'll still use that. What's better about a push-up than a machine press? Anybody ever had to like adjust a couch in the house because you redoing the room? Anybody? Mm-hmm. Right? Or you had to move the refrigerator out, sweep behind it, you drop something, right? When you do that, are you sitting down with your back stabilized in the chair, pushing that couch, or pushing that refrigerator? No, you're on your feet, right? So a chest press is sitting down in a chair, pressing forward with complete back support, right? Your core doesn't have to work very much in order to help you do that. You're actually isolating the triceps, the anterior deltoid, and the chest muscles. That's fine if your goal is to move as much weight as possible. But if your goal is to be more functional and to maintain and enhance regular everyday movements, it'd be better if you did something like a push-up or a tube press. Now when you do a push-up, nothing's supporting your body except for your core. Your core is going to be your abdominals, the front of your hips, your glutes, and your low back muscles. Those muscles need to learn how to stabilize, tighten up and stabilize, and allow you to exert some type of force and move. So now, when you're doing push-ups, your whole core is engaged, your core is working while you're doing the push-ups, whether you're doing it on your knees, on your toes. And it's a more functional exercise that helps you burn more calories too, during and after the workout. That's the difference between a functional exercise and one that what I would call more of an old school type of exercise. Not to say that I don't do the machine chest press, because I do. But I definitely mix it up with functional exercise as well. a squat and deadlift versus the leg extension and the leg curl. Very, same thing. When you guys are bending over or squatting over to pick up a piece of paper or squat down to play with the kids or pick up something, because we all pick up stuff like this, right? Nobody ever does this, right? Because it affects the lower back. Those exercises are more functional than the leg extension and leg curl. These two exercises, again, isolate one muscle group at a time. This isolates the quads, this isolates the back and the legs. This works the glutes, the hip flexors, the quads, the hamstrings, your core, because you got to maintain proper body position. The squat is a far more functional exercise. So click to the next one. These are just different things that you can do for cardio. And the more muscle groups you're moving, obviously the more calories you burn. So 5 steps to transforming your body in record time. Anybody want to know how to do that? It's interactive. Y'all can say yes. Alright, so I do this with my clients when I sit down with them one-on-one and in groups. The first thing I want to do is define your goals, your motivation, and your commitment. And then the second is evaluate where you are right now. Third is provide you with a complete program to follow and help you achieve your goals. Take advantage of the complete program and your goals. And then regularly assess your progress and update it. So let's go to the first one. Now I feel like this is the first slide. I feel like this is the most important thing when it comes to somebody starting an exercise program. Let's put the whole slide up there. What specifically do you want to accomplish? The reason why I exercise is not because I want six-pack abs, though I like having six-pack abs. But that's not the reason that I do. That's not, but that doesn't motivate me to go work out though, six-pack abs. The reason why I do it is I think about what happened to my grandmother in the state that my dad was in. I think about how my energy is going to be the next day when I'm working. I think about how tired I get, when I'm not exercising or eating eating properly on a regular basis. I think about how my energy is really low when I get home, when my kids want to play and I'm just too tired. I think about how my life won't be what it could be if I exercise and I ate properly. When people say they don't have time, what I find is when they start exercising, they can't figure out how they were functioning without it before. Because they're functioning at a higher level. They're more productive at work. The same 8 hours they had before, they get more work done and they're being more effective and more efficient. Plus they got the endorphin release and they're more confident and just feel better. So my reason why I exercise, that reason is a reason that's there every single day. I want to feel good on Thursday, so I'm working out today. And you don't have to exercise every day. You can still feel great, work out 3 to 4 days a week. But I know that when I do my cardio, I just feel better. My joints feel better. My knees feel better. My low back feels better. Everything is functioning better. My muscles are looser. Stuff is not popping. When you hit 30, stuff starts popping for some reason. Stuff that didn't used to pop starts to pop. But that's the reason why I exercise. So the most important thing that you do is you get a goal that's motivating, not just short term, but also long term. Because I had 2 types of clients that would come in to see me when I started working in sport and health. I saw this my very first year of training. Real quickly, I saw the types of people that got on the exercise program and stayed on it, and those that would start and that would quit. And the difference was that those who came to me and actually would end up quitting were those who came because they had a wedding coming up, they had a high school reunion, they were going to the beach, they had a race, maybe a marathon. Those are all very good, motivating events coming up that gets them started, but it won't keep them going. Because after that thing passes, they fall off. And then 2 or 3 years later, they call me back with more weight than they had before we started. So those are good to get you started, but you need to have something that's more of a long-term focus, something that's related to your health. Because the clients that will come in and tell me, yeah, my doctor said my blood pressure is up and I can get off the meds if I start exercising. People like me, my mom is sick and I know if I don't work out, I will get sick. Those are the type of people who will come in, who will start and they will stick with it. Week after week, month after month, year after year, they would exercise. So the first thing I do with my clients when I sit down with them, or my potential clients when I sit down with them, is try to get them focused on what's going to keep them going long term. What's going to be the motivating factor that gets them to do this day after day, week after week. Because people who come in with a project, it doesn't last. We hit the project and then it's over. And I tell people, this is not a project, it's a lifestyle. It's just what you do. You integrate it into your life, you just get it done. You'll be far more successful with that approach than any other approach. I also want people to have a commitment level over 10 before we move beyond the slide. Because stuff is going to happen. We talked about all the stuff that affects your life, between your lifestyle, with your social life, and then you got your family, and you got work, and you got to take care of yourself, you need to sleep. How do you get it all in? You make it a priority. We all got 30 minutes typically to an hour, you know, 3 to 4 times a week to spend on ourselves. If we don't, we really need to sit back and evaluate our lives. We are too busy if that's how our life is running. If you want to watch, if you're a TV watcher, great. Watch TV and work out at the same time, especially your cardio, you know. So let's click on to the next one. Step 2, whatever you want to improve, you got to measure it. First thing I do is, during the assessment, is we weigh you, we look at your body fat, we do upper body strength assessment, core assessment, we do some measurements around the body, and we do before and after pictures. Anybody here got kids, you know, you probably experienced this thing where, you know, kids growing, you know they're growing, you see that they're getting bigger. But you may see a family member see you for a month, and man, he's got big, right? And I've experienced the same thing with my clients. Some of them are there to lose weight, and they're so motivated, you know, and they're so excited about getting results and determined to get results, that they're constantly in the mirror on a scale like every 5 minutes. They're not really seeing the change over time that's happening. So when I do a before picture and an after picture in 6 weeks or 12 weeks, they can really see the change that I'm seeing that they're not seeing. So the photographs are really, really good. I don't just look at weight by itself, because weight by itself is not the best indicator as to whether or not, you know, you're where you want to be weight-wise. I look at body fat and muscle mass. You know, you got different body types. You got the 3 general body types: the ectomorphs, the endomorphs, and the mesomorphs. And mesomorphs are those guys that are just naturally big, and they just walk past the dumbbell and just muscle just it's just like that. And the endomorphs are kind of in the middle, and the ectomorphs are like your marathon runners. You know, they can just go, they just have crazy endurance, they can just go forever. And if you put an ectomorph, an endomorph, and a mesomorph side by side, all 3 of them, and they're all the exact same height, and they all weigh the exact same, you got some different stuff going on there. If the ectomorph weighs the same as the mesomorph, the ectomorph is probably carrying a lot of body fat, because he doesn't have as much muscle as the mesomorph is carrying. Does that make sense? So I don't just look at height and weight. What we measure is body fat percentage. You want to be in a healthy range in your body fat percentage. Women typically between 18 and 24%, and men between 12 and 18%. And then we attack from there. Because you want to feed your muscle when you start looking at the calories you want to take in, how much you want to burn off, not necessarily body fat. All right, so we have six components. These are all the things that I do. Focus on my eating, making sure that I'm supplementing at least a multivitamin and antioxidant post-workout drink. I got more of my resistance training to maintain my muscle. The cardio fitness we just talked about. Flexibility is important. Flexible muscles are strong muscles. And then the coaching knowledge and support of exactly what it is that you need to do. Have you guys noticed, has anybody noticed, is it just me, that your muscles actually are getting weaker and smaller each year, that you guys don't strength train? There's a thing called sarcopenia. Anybody heard of sarcopenia? I know you've heard of sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is age-related muscle deterioration. Your muscle actually starts to shrink each year that you don't strength train. And muscle dictates your metabolism. The more muscle you have, the more calories you burn, even when you're not doing anything. You're just sitting at the desk just looking at the computer. You're burning calories. Your muscle needs calories in order to function. So each year that you don't strength train, your muscle gets smaller and smaller. And that's why you can't eat like now like you ate when you was 19 and not gain, right? You notice that? And so for some people, you know, the years go by and they don't see a change in their weight, and they don't realize that they're actually gaining weight. Then all of a sudden they see a big jump, you know, maybe 1 year for a couple years. They don't know what happens is that their muscles getting smaller and smaller. And someone fitting their clothes well is not an indication that they're at a healthy body fat percentage. I know some fat, skinny people. Because they come in my office and they have to take the shirts off, and we do the measurements, and they look great inside here, but underneath is not a bunch of muscle, soft, and it's 30 to 35% body fat. So just because you look good, that's not your indicator whether or not you're healthy. It's your body fat percentage. I know a lot of them, I want to fit back and so that's great. You can do that. Let's click to the next one. So the next thing you want to do is learn the components and start taking action to implement it. It typically takes about 21 days to get into the habit of doing something, to the point where the 22nd day, if you don't do it, you realize you haven't done it, and you're pulled and drawn to do it. But the longer you do it, beyond the 21 days, the more you reinforce that habit. And then you want to assess again after I try to assess like every 6 weeks my clients. When their programming is supposed to change, about the longest amount of time they should stay in a program is about 6 weeks before things change. because what happens is they'll plateau. So we reassess to see if there's any plateaus or they get clients getting frustrated or they backsliding, and then we try to hold them accountable so they can keep moving forward towards their goals. And then we review it. We keep reviewing it on a regular basis just to see where they're at and make sure that they succeed. Now, how long does it take to get results? Typically about 90 days. Typically get significant results. You should see a change immediately, like the first week or two, and then stuff will kind of level off in terms of your results. Some people see like an initial big drop, then they'll kind of level off. But 90 days is a good amount of time to achieve some significant results and really make it a lifestyle change. Because what you're looking for is a lifestyle change, not a project. I tell people, how'd you gain weight? You doing like a weight gain program? No, right? It was your lifestyle. You change your lifestyle, you lose the weight, and you be able to maintain it long term. So why do so many people succeed while so many spin their wheels, repeating failure over and over again? There are many reasons for failure, but the best way to ensure success is to follow a proven model or system that produces results. That's what we have. So Kiasha is actually still a client. She's been a client of mine probably for about 4 years. She was in my women's boot camp down here in Crystal City that I talked about. The program Active Beauty Fitness for Women, she's a part of that program. Kiasha came to me overweight. What she does is not rocket science. What she did to lose the 25 pounds, not rocket science. She comes to class consistently. When she's not in class, she's doing it on her own. I put her on a cleansing program, an eating program, and she follows it. It's not rocket science at all. You met Kiasha too. She's on the beach in Miami right now. She just emailed me. We got her back in her bikini. She's happy. But it's not rocket science. Let's go to Sue. Sue's the next one. Sue's about 61, I think. And Sue actually was working out with me with the women's boot camp, and she stopped. For 5 years, I didn't hear from her. She called me back. She gained the weight back on the left. And she lost it again in about a year or two. This is Sue now. And Sue's story is the same. She's consistently in class. When she's not in class, I know where she's at. Put her on a cleansing program, an eating program, and she follows them pretty much religiously. That's pretty much it. Let's click on to the next one. But what's the best way to achieve the results you want to accomplish in the results you want to accomplish in the shortest period of time possible? We want a personalized program put together that gives you a clear roadmap and accountability and support required to reach your goal. No matter where you are today, you have the power to change where you are tomorrow by the decisions you make today, so make good ones. So come join us. We need to start something here. Begin. So, did you want to talk, Lily?
No, go ahead.
So, we're looking at, Lillian's going to pass out some flyers. What we're looking at doing is actually starting a program here for you guys a couple of days per week. And ASIS is actually giving you guys a great deal. They're really subsidizing it like a lot. They've agreed to actually pay for half of the cost of the class, and half the cost of class for you guys. We'll be coming here a couple days a week, doing some full body conditioning, some core conditioning, a little bit of cardio, flexibility. Also, in the beginning, we'll do an assessment like we talked about for everybody. So you know where you're starting to do the body fat, the measurements, upper body, lower body strength, flexibility, and all of that stuff. And then in about 6 weeks, we'll do it again. And at the end of the program, we'll do it again. So it's basically a 90-day program they want to launch. One thing that I noticed, anybody ever seen those infomercials where they're selling a piece of equipment or something, they have the clock counting down and you only got so many left? I hate that stuff, but the reality of the matter is that it works. People need to make a decision. So I told Lillian that anybody who signed up today, who didn't procrastinate and signed up today, that we give them an additional $49 off the cost of the program. So ASIS is going to pay for half of it, and then whatever your half was left, they're going to take another $49 off of that to save you guys even more money for the cost of the total program. So if you're really interested, I got sign-up forms too that I give them Lily. That oh, here we go. You guys fill out these. And we'll follow up with everybody and take the next step.
Talk about if they can to go to that.
The location?
The location, right.
Okay, so what I'm passing out right now, there's an offer that we have. Let me see what your offer this is. We actually send out a newsletter twice a month. It's based on the latest science about nutrition, fitness, or the mental game, which is a big part of staying in shape. And if you guys sign up for that, you'll get 5 free issues, and you'll get a couple newsletters from us per month. and special promotions that we do. Another thing that's in here is a free week of boot camp off-site. Like we have 2 locations where we're doing boot camps now. 2 locations you guys can come to, not including our corporate locations. We have the Active Duty Fitness for Women boot camp in Crystal City. And then we do small group training in Tyson's Corner, which is co-ed. Anywhere from 4 to 6 people. So if you guys want to come do either of those programs, you get that first week for free. That's what this form is that you guys just got.
But we want you to join our team here.
But they would like to do it here, so we have the purchasing power of the team, so keep the
So
cost
the
down.
one here is actually located here.
Yes, we're gonna be doing it here.
Yep.
Where is here?
Here,
In the gym.
in the gym, and there'll be some exercises outside,
Mhm. What do you
depending
slow
on how the day is. And it's 2 days a week,
Mhm.
90-day commitment. And then the consensus is the group. Once we get the group together, and the hours are either the 11 to 12, 12 to 1, or 1 to 2. It's a 45-minute workout. 2 days a week. Now, again, the consensus of the group will be what days a week would be best for someone. Whether it be a Monday or Tuesday, a Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, a Friday,
How much is it? I mean, overall, 50% off, I know,
Right.
but how long is the commitment for?
it's
3 months,
3 months.
90
So,
days.
okay, so $300.
$300.
Right.
And ASIS is paying half of it, so it's
Right.
$150. And then if you sign up today, it's $49, so I guess it's $100. Yeah, 3 months, wow.
Oh, yeah,
That's the best.
Good job.
Am I right? Did I say that right? That's the cheapest I've heard. They hook me up.
Flex, no, Flex doesn't cover it. Mm-mm.
So
Sure.
$49.95, you were saying if we sign up now?
Right.
Deducted from the $100.
Yeah, it's
Deducted from the
from the
150.
150, because it's 150 per month. It's a 3 months commitment, it's $300.
Okay.
Half of that is 150, and then $49 off of that.
So that's 101.
So 101.
Okay.
And that would cover them for
3 months.
the whole 3 months.
That will cover you. for the
$30 a
whole
month.
3
It
months.
is?
Small group personal training.
Yes.
I've been doing it for a long time, never seen that. So that's a great
Yeah,
price.
I mean, it's,
You can't
it's a
beat
price
that.
that you won't,
Don't say
Wow.
that, 'cause
and again, we'll start in, mid-March. We're looking at mid-March, so,
Just a couple weeks.
once, we get the group, if you're interested, talk to your colleagues, people who are not here. I know I have, some employees that are not here, that are interested in it.